Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and I thought I had a really great idea to record this topic today, and I'm realizing that it might not be. We'll see how it ends up. So the topic is managing the mental gymnastics team in your mind so you can get out of your own way. So my clever idea was I would record the episode in real time when the mental gymnastics team in my mind is performing at the Olympics and how I manage it and work through it in real time. So I thought this would be smart because it's in real time, it's raw, it is realistic and relatable and perhaps somewhat entertaining. However, I forgot about the fact that I'm usually not that smart during this time because there's so much energy being exerted in my brain and there's so much going on in so many directions, it's hard for me to communicate clearly. So I really hope you guys give me some grace in this episode. I'm going to go for it. And hopefully I don't sound too all over the place. I'm rubbing my head as we speak. I have my eyes closed. I did not have a bad day. Today was actually a pretty solid day. My house is clean. I've eaten. I've had a decent amount of water. My coffee hit right. And it's usually for me around this time period. It's this witching hour. It can happen like late afternoon, like this 4 to 6 window. Sometimes for me, it happens that 7 to 9 p.m. window as well. If I've gone through all my shows and I'm not currently obsessed with some Netflix series to take my mind off things. And when I'm going through scary stuff, right? When we're not really putting ourselves out there, that doesn't mean you're not going to have mental gymnastics. You're going to have it either which way. You're not doing the thing. You know, you're not doing what you need to do in order to get the results you want, whether that's with your business, whether it's financial, whether it's with your body, your relationship, whatever goals that you have. So if you're not taking action, which is a choice, then you end up in a form of mental gymnastics of beating yourself up, shame, guilt, the shoulds. And then on the other side, you're taking the actions. Maybe you're not getting the exact results you want. Maybe you're just tired. Maybe you're PMSing. Maybe something else happened and your brain just starts messing with you. Maybe you've been scrolling too much. So here's what happens with the mental gymnastics. We end up in this spot typically when we have far too much output going on. You've been putting out to your kids, putting out to your significant other, putting out to your community, putting out content, dealing with adulting things like taxes and having a random charge on your credit card and having to call this company and that company, and you feel taxed, right? You end up feeling taxed. You have so much output and you don't have enough being poured in. That will trigger more of like an anxious and depleted type of mental gymnastics. And when you're in this spot, this is what I do. Oh my God, is this going horribly, you guys? See, when I'm in this spot, I end up feeling really insecure, extra vulnerable, like I'm not making any sense. And this vibe is not fun. So here's what I do when I'm in this spot. I start unpacking the thoughts And yes, this takes a little discipline and energy, but what's the other option? The other option is to stay spinning and end up getting spun out, which is just burning a ton of energy and not getting us anywhere. It's like sitting in a rocking chair and it might feel, I'm not even going to go with this analogy. Fuck it. The analogy was going to go sideways. I'm like, I can't do it. I don't have the mental bandwidth to go down that analogy path. All right. So I start unpacking these thoughts. And for example, I'm going to take you through some of my thoughts right now. So bear with me with this, really brilliant idea I had of doing this. One of the thoughts is, oh my God, you don't have enough energy, Tiffany, or mental clarity in order to do all the things that you need to do on your plate. So you're going to completely sabotage this and screw yourself. And what do you think you're doing? And none of it's going to work out of this space, and you needed to get it together. And I know you said you wanted to go to yoga tonight because you didn't go this morning. Well, how are you going to go to yoga tonight? Because you're so tired and all you want to do is stay wearing your fuzzy Christmas socks that you don't want anyone to see you in and watch TV and stare in the corner of the wall. And that's all you really want to do. But God, you didn't do yoga yesterday, so you need to do yoga today, and you should make yourself do the things, and that's what you teach people, so now you're out of integrity. I'm not joking. This is how, it's like a run-on sentence for miles that my brain goes on. Oh, and then I could go, oh God, I have to take the dogs for a walk, and I'm not taking them for a walk, and I took them for only a short walk last night because it was raining, and I'm a bad dog mom. Oh my God, could I even imagine if I had real human children, I would be arrested. Maybe this is why I don't have them. I mean, is anyone else as insane? So unpacking these thoughts, let's start with I don't have the energy to do what I need to do in order to go to the next level of success. Let's unpack that, okay? So first of all, run it through the scenario of, is that in fact actually true with 100% certainty that I do not have the energy to take my business to the next level of success? Is that really true? Do I have evidence of this? Is this fact? Well, no, I have to do this out loud. So I suggest you guys doing it out loud as well. If you're not in an environment where you can do it out loud, and of course you have to do it in your head. Okay, so then I go through that. Okay, well, no, that's not true. I really don't have evidence of it. It just feels that way. Well, feelings aren't facts, people. We feel a lot of things. In fact, we feel things all the time that aren't facts. I feel right now that I'm making no sense. You guys hate this episode. I'm going to get shitty reviews on Apple and Spotify. And you guys are going to be like, God, she's such an idiot. What is she even talking about? This was no value. It totally wasted my time. I'm not joking. This is what happens when we're in mental gymnastics land. So now let's go unpack that thought. Is that absolutely true with 100% certainty for a fact that you guys think that this is a wild waste of your time and makes no sense? Well, no, I don't have actual fact. No one said that to me. No one wrote that review, right? No one's DM'd me. No one said that to me. And even if one person did, maybe it was only one person, but no one has said that to me. Then I want you to go down the path of, is that belief or thought that I'm having, is this thought helpful right now? That you guys think this is absolutely annoying, this experiment I'm doing that I thought would be helpful, and now I feel really vulnerable and awkward doing this because I'm not at my mental peak, which is when I normally record. So now I feel really off and janky. Is me having that thought helpful in any way? Is it beneficial to myself to have this thought? No. Is it beneficial to me energetically, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially? No, 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 no. Is it beneficial to the greater good of all? Is it beneficial to you or anyone close to me? No. Okay, well, then you need to choose a different thought. What's a different thought that you can have that would be helpful and would be beneficial? This is the part that takes some mental energy to do. Well, a better thought would be that maybe, because you have to say things you really believe, right? Maybe they will really appreciate that I was willing to be this raw and vulnerable and show them behind the scenes real time of how wild and crazy my brain is, because they feel like they're the only ones whose brains are this crazy. And this is letting them know that they're not alone, and that just because their brain does this, that doesn't mean they can't be, successful. Wow. Well, that feels a lot better. That feels a lot better. So let's unpack the other thought I had. The other thought about, I don't have the energy to take this business to the next level of success, right? We already determined we have no actual concrete evidence that that's true, right? Feelings aren't facts. So now let's take it to, is that belief beneficial to me energetically, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially? Not really. No, it doesn't really serve any good. Is that beneficial to the people around you, to the greater good of those you serve? No, it's really not. So what would be a better thought? Okay. What would be a more helpful thought? You don't even have to say better thought, because I kind of don't like the better thing, because I don't know. I just don't like it. What would be a more helpful thought, or a productive thought, or a nicer thought? A nicer thought would be that I'm just fucking tired right now, and I put a great deal of output because I just finished a launch for Selling with Soul, and I just did today, day one, and I poured into them and over delivered and went almost 2 hours, and it was absolutely incredible. But it's a lot of energy to manage and coach a group of that size and deliver the way that they deserve, that you all deserve to be delivered to. And why don't I let myself off the hook? And if it doesn't feel like it would be nurturing to go to yoga, we don't need to force you going to yoga. It's okay. You can go tomorrow. Maybe what you need to do is sit here and look at the ocean and drink more water and be in silence, or read a book, or take a bath. Maybe that's what you need, and that's okay. How about we celebrate all that you did do today? Well, that's a much more beneficial thought. I wonder if you guys can hear it in my tone of voice. Maybe this was a good idea. Wow, I'm coaching myself. This is interesting. I do feel actually calmer in my body. I don't have to fucking go to yoga. I don't have to cook dinner. Well, we know I'm not going to do that anyway. Let's be honest. But I don't have to tell myself I'm going to cook dinner. In fact, do I really have to do anything? Yeah, I have a lot of stuff on my list, but is anything that pressing where I absolutely have to do it? Or can I prioritize my own needs and nurturing myself? What if I do prioritize my own needs and nurturing myself? Who is that going to serve? What's going to serve me better? Forcing myself to doing all the things and doing more when I'm completely exhausted and tapped out? Or is it going to serve those around me to pour into myself so I can wake up feeling refreshed the next day? This is called productive rest, you guys. Because a lot of you keep going. Now, I know some of you listening are like, easy for you to say, you don't have children. I know some of you are thinking that. And I don't. And I'm not taking away from the fact that that's an extra major layer. But then it also is, you can only do what you can do and let go of the rest, because then you'll be snappy with your kids and it won't be cute. So that's when you get to practice boundaries of mom, dad, we're tapped out for today, right? Like, dinner's going to be something very simple. I'm tapped out. I need to rest and recharge so I can be good for myself and all of you. And period, end of story. Because if we keep pushing and going and leaning into all these thoughts, you end up in Stuckland USA. And that is not a good place to be. I know some of you are there now, which is why you're maybe attracted to this episode. You've got to unpack these thoughts. And if it feels like so much work, like you're like, I'm so tired, for me to unpack these thoughts is so much work. Well, that's a thought you need to work through in of itself. So let's work through it. For me to do this exercise, Tiffany's saying, and I feel like I have a million thoughts. It's going to take me forever and I'm already so tired. Is that absolutely true, 100% certain for a fact? Because you haven't even tried it yet, so you don't know. Okay, so it's not totally true. You're right. I haven't tried it yet. Maybe I can at least take my top 5 thoughts, because really we have, what is it? Like it's something insane, like 30,000 thoughts a day or something like that. But the reality is we have the same tape running on there's probably a solid 10 we circle through. We circle back to, we chew on, we obsess over. So I just want you to go even after the top 5 is going to help you. I mean, I already feel better by even doing this in real time with you guys. So even just doing the top 5. Okay. Who is this serving? Is this really serving anyone to hold on to the thought that it is going to be so much mental work and I don't have it in me to unpack these thoughts and do this exercise Tiffany is saying? Does this serve anyone? Is this benefit anyone? What is this doing? Is this helpful for yourself or anyone else? No, it's not really a helpful thought. Okay, what would be a different thought? What would be a different thought that would be helpful? Well, how about we just start with 1? How about we just unpack 1? That's it. And if we don't have it in us to do any more, we just do 1. And then we do 1 at a time. We do 1. And if we're like, well, I could maybe do another, then we do 1 more. And then we do 1 more. But at least start with 1, because not doing any, they are going to continue tumbling and cartwheeling and pole vaulting. I don't think that's a gymnastics sport. The uneven bars, right? They're going to start doing all of that stuff in your brain at rapid fast forward speed. It's just going to get worse, and it's going to drain your energy more and more and more. And this is where a lot of you end up dissociating, right? You check out on TV, online shopping, scrolling, eating, drinking, you name it, picking a fight with your spouse. That's why these thoughts don't serve the greater good, because our thoughts end up coming out in actions. Maybe it comes out in an attitude. Maybe you're being cunty. Maybe you're not thinking clearly because you're so tired that you send off an email in a reaction mode and you're just being reactionary. Maybe your brain can't think of anything creative because you're so tired and not taking care of yourself. So this causes a serious domino effect. But that's how I manage that mental gymnastics team in my brain. Sometimes I'm like, oh God, I know I need to do this exercise, but let's just I'll make a deal with myself. It's like negotiating with your kid to clean their room or eat the broccoli, right? We're really negotiating with our inner children. So I'll go, okay, let's just do our top 3 thoughts that I keep running through and obsessing over. Let's just do those 3. And then we can watch TV if we want. And then we can eat white cheddar popcorn if we want. Let's just go through those things. So I want you guys to do this when it comes to stuff that you're feeling really scary about in your business. Maybe it's going on video. Maybe it's launching your offer. Maybe it's actually going for the damn thing. Maybe it's increasing your pricing. Maybe you're wanting to apply. My March applications, by the way, are open for my exclusive 2-month private business coaching program. And maybe you've seen that and you've been wanting to apply and you're like, I really want to do it. But then you have all sorts of thoughts come up. I bet Tiffany costs a fortune, and oh my God, maybe I'm not ready to work with her yet. And if should I really do it? Am I really going to follow through with what she has me do? Am I going to waste money because I've done other things before and it didn't really get me anywhere? You need to start unpacking those thoughts, because those are getting in your way of actually taking actions that are going to get you where you want to go. Now, some of these thoughts are your intuition, right? Your spidey sense, where it's like, that person kind of feels off to me. Like, I don't know if I totally believe them. That's more of an intuitive thought. And we want to acknowledge those thoughts and honor those thoughts too. But the difference is when it's an intuitive thought, it almost comes from like your stomach or solar plexus. There's more of a grounded energy to it. And when it's a fear thought, you have a lot of anxiousness, right? It's very fast in your brain. You might have like really shallow breathing or fast breathing. You kind of get tensed up. There's a different feeling in your body. Your body doesn't lie. Your brain and your heart does lie. So this is why inside my exclusive 2-month private business coaching program, I mesh actual customized strategy so you can get that cash going and get those consistent clients in your business. But if we don't manage your mental gymnastics at the same time, you will sabotage all the strategy I give you that's been proven time and time again with over 100,000 people I've worked with, generating over $160 million in sales transactions for people. You will sabotage that with your mental gymnastics, with your thoughts. I've seen it happen over and over again. So that's why we do them synergistically. It's not like one happens before another. That doesn't work like that, because the stuff comes up in real time when you go into action. And then I'm there in real time to unpack these thoughts so that you can get out of your own way and do the damn thing. So it could be that you're afraid of being judged. What will people think who I was in the corporate world with? What will someone in your family think? What are people going to think if I'm in network marketing? People are going to think, I'm a scam. It could be that you're not happy with your body right now, so you're not wanting to show up online. It could be that you're in comparisonitis and you're like, God, I don't have the credentials, or I'm still a hot mess. Who am I to teach this? Those are all thoughts you need to unpack. If you don't unpack them and do the exercise I shared with you, you're going to stay in them. Then you're going to stay stuck and your actions are going to match. Your actions will match these thoughts because these thoughts are there long enough. They turn into beliefs, and then your actions match those things. And then who is that good for? Now you're not out there doing the thing and you're just stuck in inaction. And then you shame yourself and guilt yourself and beat yourself up for being in inaction. It's insane. It's pure insanity. And if you've been in this spot for months, if not years, and you've been trying to go at it alone, well, going at it alone, A, is not recommended, and B, is clearly not effective for you. I was one of those people. I was like, well, I should be able to manage my own thoughts and read enough books and listen to enough podcasts. I should be able to do it on my own. I should be able to do it on my own. We're not meant to do really most things on our own. If I'm left to my own thoughts with having no one to check in with, because some of these thoughts I've repeated so long, I start believing them as fact. I wouldn't be here talking to you right now today. This show would not exist. I wouldn't be sitting here podcasting while looking at the ocean in a multi-million-dollar beach house. None of this would be happening because our own thoughts are what has gotten us stuck, or our own thoughts are what has gotten us success. Right? It goes both ways. It's what you're putting your energy to and what you are willing to discipline yourself to rework those thoughts. It goes either way. It's either spinning you stuck or it spins you to success. And I want that success for you. But if you doing it on your own isn't working, then stop it. You calling your cousin or your best friend, that's not cutting it. You don't have enough accountability there. I want to make sure you really hear me on this, because this is what I see takes down 99% of entrepreneurs. It's their mind that spins out into belief and self-doubt and insecurities and all this stuff. That's what ends up having people quit or shelving their dreams or pausing. Remember, it took me 10 years to start ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. It wasn't because of strategy. I actually knew what the hell I was doing. I already was an entrepreneur in a different specialty, right? In a different business model. I had the money in the bank. It wasn't about me not having the money to start a business. I had the money in the bank. I didn't even have to get a loan. I mean, my first business, everything was on my credit card, but I didn't have to do that. The issue was my own mind. And I was in therapy. But therapy is not the same as coaching. Being coached through those thoughts in real time and having someone you can reach out to in real time, not waiting until the following week's session. Wow, does that really go a long way? And I always know when my private clients are going to start with the resistance thoughts and the spinning out. I know it's right before we do the damn thing. A lot of you are very comfortable in learning mode and planning mode and mapping things out. But when it comes time to actually doing it and executing, you freeze, you get defensive, you get sick, you get stressed out, you have excuses. But when it comes to learning stuff, you're right there. You have the notebook. You probably have your own notebook for it. But then it comes to doing it, then your brain gets in the way. So if we don't manage that mind, you're not going to execute. And all those gifts you have are not going out in the world, and you're not going to get the results you want, which is lifestyle changing cash. And if that's what you want, this is part of it. It's such a big part of it that if you don't get on this today and at least start at chipping away one thought at a time, then that's self-abandonment. If you're not willing to do that for yourself, it's self-abandonment. Just one thought at a time. That's all I need you to do. I love you guys so much. I want the best for you. Thank you for being patient with me on this episode and this experiment, I did for you, which I don't really know how it did. So will you do me a favor? Write a written review of the show. I'm afraid to even say it, but you can write reviews on Spotify now and on Apple Podcasts. Write a review of the show, put your name or Instagram handle in the review. Let me know what you thought of this episode. You can also take a screenshot and share it in your Instagram or Facebook stories if you liked it. And if you don't, I can handle it. Like, you can reach out to me and be like, yeah, it wasn't your best. I can handle it. Usually though, when I think something's awful, it's the most favorite thing you guys love the most. Like my Abundance Walk guided meditation series, hands down, is my most popular freebie where thousands of people have downloaded it and are obsessed with it. And I was like, this is terrible. No one's going to like it. I resisted creating it for 2 years. I was horrified. I was super nervous. So usually the very things we're the most terrified of that we think are bad, could be bad ideas. What was I thinking? I'm so stupid. Oh my God, how awkward and uncomfortable, end up typically being the stuff that people like the most. Which is yet again why we have to manage those thoughts. Because if I let those thoughts take over any longer, you wouldn't have the Abundance Walk guided meditation series. You wouldn't have this crazy, raw, real episode that you have here. And if you're like, what is this Abundance Walk thing? It's in the link in my bio on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. I am obviously not of sound mind, but I think the link is projectmewithtiffany.com/guided meditation. projectmewithtiffany.com/guided meditation. If that doesn't come up for you, it is for sure in my link in bio on Instagram at ProjectMeWithTiffany. Go leave a review of the show, take a screenshot, share it. Wishing you guys great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.